Wafoo FM.
The Kriss and Kriss Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 90-bloody-9 of
90-fucking-9
of the Kriss and Kriss Show. I'm Chris with a choke slam C. Check that shit.
I'm Chris with a kick out K.
Nice. I was thinking to myself, I was like, is he going to use a move like I do? And if so, what fucking move begins with a K?
There's not many. I can't think of any right now.
I thought you were either going to go. I'd probably go for Kevin Owens C. The K.
Yeah, well, kick out K. That's good.
Kick out's perfect. So yeah, this week episode 99. I thought I had the bright idea. I was like, let's review something that came out in 99. And then I realised. Beyond the Mat, the infamous wrestling documentary, came out in 99. It gives us an excuse to bang on about wrestling in the form of a review. Instead of going off on a tangent and having people going, skip.
Like signing up for an hour to listen to like our Terminator review, but actually they're just getting wrestling.
Yeah, for like the first 45 minutes or something. Yeah. And no doubt we'll end up comparing things in this documentary to what's going on now and going off on a tangent about how shit WrestleMania is going to be. You know it's going to happen, but we've got a perfectly fine excuse this time.
We do. So it's one for the wrestling fans this week.
And though, if you're going to continue listening to this, it's well worth checking out that documentary. Even if you're just a fan of documentaries, it's you know.
Yeah, true, because it's like portal into that world basically. It's weird, yeah.
It's just good human stories. That's all it is, really, like any good documentary. But we'll do a capsule reviews. But I've caught up on Making a Murderer over the past couple of days, so it's no doubt going to be almost a double bill review. We're probably going to have a lot to say about Making a Murderer.
Yeah, definitely.
So briefly, did you see the episode 8 announcement?
I did. It's pretty cool, actually.
That was a fucking surprise, wasn't it?
It's a surprise that the film, they're like reshooting like that scene. Oh well, probably not reshooting it, but they're doing something like that.
It's obviously going to take place directly after 7,
which is weird. Like it'll be if it is the case, it'll be the first Star Wars film to do that as well, because all the other films have always started, obviously 3-4 years after.
Most of them, yeah.
But yeah, unless it's some sort of weird flashback scene or something, or montage, or I still reckon that won't be the start of the film.
No,
I think they won't break the habit. It'll start in space, and it'll probably start with like Kylo Ren or something going to like see fucking Grand Negus Snivel, whatever he was called. Snoke. Yeah, I do know his name.
I'm still waiting for them to like come up with an excuse as to why they said in press release and stuff a character that could only be achieved with CGI. Unless he is 19 foot tall, like his hologram. I can't really see why that couldn't be achieved with makeup.
Yeah, why? Because, I mean, if you look at Harry Potter and stuff, like, obviously they did... what's the bad guy called? Voldemort or something.
Yeah.
You know, they did that, all just prosthetics and stuff.
With a hint of...
It's hint of CGI, yeah.
On his nose, but yeah pretty much, yeah.
So they could have just done that there, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. He could be 19 foot tall and it would be weird.
It's like got tentacles and he's like something out of a hentai porn or something.
Yeah, he's going to be giant and shit, and then like episode 9 will just be like fucking... What's that fucking game again? Something of the Colossus, just climbing up him and stabbing him in the head.
Oh yeah, Shadow the Colossus, yeah. But yeah, it's pretty sweet, yeah. It seems to have a darker sort of like, because it's got a different DP and stuff on it, this film.
Yeah. So
it should be interesting to see how visually it changes. But it could be my imagination, but the lighting and everything seemed way darker on that. Just it was only a brief shot you saw.
Yeah. And plus, that's not going to be the final look. It'll have been quickly banged out just for the announcement and stuff. So who knows? I mean, I'm excited though. Yeah.
It's all over again. Let's go around again.
Yeah, damn right, man.
Yeah.
Let's watch some films.
But other than that, you've been watching anything else since the last show?
Yeah, well, it's pretty much after talking to you about those films. Like I said, I had them planned. I watched pretty much every film we talked about.
Champion.
So I watched fucking Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
I thought that was really good. Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, very... I mean, I'll say it didn't... I'll add a negative just to be a critique. I didn't think it asked as hard questions as that film Her. You know, the one with...
yeah, I still haven't seen that.
Thingy Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. Only because that film really addressed the reality of someone falling in love with an AI and how it could actually happen.
Yeah.
And you came away from that film thinking, fucking hell, you would fall in love with that person.
Yeah.
Where I thought with Ex Machina it was kind of it was a bit sudden that he all of a sudden would do anything for her. Just because she looked pretty, sort of thing.
But that was kind of the point of the experiment, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, that's my light criticism of the film, to be honest. Yeah. Other than that, I really enjoyed it, and total, I guess, a bit, without spoilers, a bit of an anticlimax.
Well, that's the thing. I was thinking which way they're going to go with it. Are they going to go the way I'm thinking they're going to go, or what? And it was kind of fitting for the tone of the film, though.
Yeah. Definitely, because you're throughout the film. It's uneasy. It's an uneasy watch.
Yeah.
And Oscar Isaacs, fuck man, he's you don't know whether he's a bastard or not right till the very end.
And
really.
No, but really, even after it finished, I was kind of like, was he a bastard?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it left you thinking who was the good guy and who was the bad guy in that film?
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of grey areas, totally.
Yeah. So it's really, really, really cool and. He's a great young actor, I should say, because he's not that young, but really, really great. I hope we'll see him in a lot more films. To be honest.
Yeah, it's all. Then you got to love that bit where he just fucking decides to have a dance.
Yeah,
that was the best bit of the film.
Yeah, with the Japanese girl.
Yeah.
It was
fussing the move while he's shit arsed and stuff. Great.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed that. Really nice film, just visually.
It's really well shot. Yeah.
And I totally got what you're saying about Kubrick-esque sort of thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So excellent. After that though, I watched Hateful Eight.
What do you think?
So I loved it. Yeah, start to finish. Loads of laugh out loud moments.
Yeah, it's really funny, isn't it?
Yeah. And just a great whodunit film.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't know. I didn't find it. I mean, it was it had its Tarantino moments and stuff, but. I just really appreciated it for being a Western and stuff.
I'm not sure, I think it's the perfect length. I'm not sure how much more I could get out of it with the added 20 minutes for the big 70mm roadshow version he did.
Yeah.
Which has got an extra 15-20 minutes plus an intermission and stuff. I don't know what's added. There is a certain point in the film where I was thinking, oh, that's what's been added because they're talking about something I haven't seen or something like that, yeah. But I thought it was a cracking film, yeah. Yeah,
and Samuel L. Jackson, just hilarious in it.
See what I mean, though? He totally deserved an Oscar nod for that.
No, yes, I suppose, thinking about it, I did say, there wasn't many films that needed a black nomination, but yeah, that one did, totally.
Yeah. Especially the way his character just switches and goes back and forth. Sometimes you're rooting for him, other times you're like, oh, that's a bit dark.
The whole bit when he's talking about his pecker and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, God.
Yeah. Pretty brutal.
Yeah, but my favourite bit was just the bit when he kept saying about, without spoilers, but about his testicles.
Yeah.
I quite like when he's like, bushwhacking nut shooting. He just said it in so many different ways, like bushwhacking ball busting or something.
Yeah. I love Tim Roth in it as well.
Yeah, he was funny as well.
Typical snooty English bloke.
Snooty English bloke who was actually just a rough Cockney guy sort of thing as well, which was funny.
Yeah. And plus, it was great to see him because I think that's the first Tarantino movie he's been in since Pulp Fiction, bar 4 Rooms and stuff. It's the first proper Tarantino movie he's been in since then. Cool.
Yeah. No, that's everyone. I mean, Michael Madsen and stuff did a great job in it, and they all had really decent parts.
Good old Bruce Dern.
Yeah, Bruce Dern, felt really bad for him and stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
Even though, he's technically a horrible racist.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's weird, isn't it? It puts you in a weird place. Yeah. You just feel bad for him, the way he sort of goes out of the picture.
Yeah.
And obviously the can't remember her name, but the girl in it as well.
Jennifer Jason Leigh, yeah, she's great, yeah.
Fucking awesome in it, yeah. Great piece of work she did.
It's like a horrible cow.
Yeah, like, it's weird because, like, I don't know, you never really feel sorry for her throughout the entire film.
Not really, no.
I guess. Even, like, when she's getting, like, elbowed in the fucking...
Yeah.
In the face and shit and spitting blood out and stuff.
And you gotta give props to one of the unheralded co-stars of the film. That would be Kurt Russell's moustache.
Yeah, that was one epic fucking facial hair going on there.
It's no wonder he made that bone tomahawk around the same time. He's like, right, fuck, I've grown this moustache out. I'm getting a couple of fucking westerns in.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, it's a cracking film, yeah.
Well, other than that, I finally watched Dark City as well.
Yes, I finally got around to buying that a couple of years ago. I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's people probably like, I don't know. Maybe it was a film you needed to see at the time to really appreciate it. There's a lot of bits in it. For one, it's hard to accept Kiefer Sutherland as anything but Jack Bauer.
Well, thankfully, I've never seen 24, so I never have that problem.
How do you know? I always forget that. That's
I never watched it.
That's wrong. That like you've got to at least watch the first season.
Yeah. I had like you and Wiggum going on at us to watch it, and I was like,
It's just such a big part of pop culture, man.
And, I just turned into fucking John Locke, and I'm just like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. I suppose I'm totally like that as well. But yeah, it sticks out like a sore thumb a bit in that film, and it does have a lot of Matrix things going on. Like, it's weird. It must have just been one of them sort of weird films that, you know, like when it happens, like two Hollywood films come out that are like, that almost have the same premise.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that in a way, anyway, with Dark City. There's a very similar premise going on.
Yeah.
And there's bits where, like, even like he's running about on the rooftops and everything. It's weird. It's almost like, without like reading into the history of it, I wonder if like one of the scripts was optioned. And somebody's read the script and went, and turned it down, but then gone off and made their own movie based on what they could remember about the script.
Maybe.
That's something, because there's bits when you're like, yeah, that does totally happen in the Matrix. That's weird. Like, why have they gone for exactly the same scene? Like, you know, because I think it came out in the same year and stuff.
Was it the same year? Yeah, because I always think Dark City was earlier, but it wasn't. Because I remember renting it when it came out, because it's Alex Proyas who did The Crow.
Yeah.
And being a dumb kid, I was just like, fuck, that's got me mint, because I love The Crow. And I'm like, we got 10 minutes into it, and I was like, just couldn't get into it.
But it was an okay watch, to be fair. It wasn't as good as what some people say, I don't know.
Isn't Richard O'Brien in it?
He is. He plays one of the villains.
Does he also play the harmonica?
He's essentially just... Yeah, he's just him. You know what I mean? He doesn't play the harmonica, sadly, but it is just him, basically.
He's just running around going, oh! Pretty
much, yeah. And obviously it's got lovely Jennifer Connelly in it as well.
Yeah, so it does.
Not bad cast. But, I don't know, by the end of the film, you just kind of like, is that it?
Yeah.
It never really explains what was actually going on and why and where and stuff.
I must get around to it. Yeah. It's a film I've been meaning to revisit since it came out, since I got a bit older, and thought, I want to give that another chance, because I was a bit of a daft kid when I saw it and stuff.
It's certainly a very nice looking film at times. I mean, I watched like an HD version of it, and it could have been made last year. When you look at it, they've done a really good job in either cleaning it up or it was just filmed in a really, really good way. So it's like timeless.
Yeah,
one of them films, and because it's set in like a semi sort of like a 1930s kind of New York setting.
Yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah,
so it kind of like it has that timeless look anyway. But yeah, it really struck me that I thought, fuck yeah, this could have been made yesterday, and you wouldn't know.
Why weren't you watching it though again? It looks all fucking hard and shit.
Yeah.
How are you like?
Anything that... Well, no, because I'd say I know it was made in the last, like, sort of X amount of years.
Oh, I get you. There's a loophole there.
Yeah. It's just when they're actually made in the 60s and that I don't want to watch them.
You're like, fuck this.
I just don't get it. I don't find women pretty either that are from that era. That's weird. I always think that.
You don't find Marilyn Monroe pretty?
Nah, I think she looks all fucking old and stuff. That's just my brain. I can't find any woman attractive unless she was born late 60s at least. I can't process that.
You're a strange boy.
Indeed I am. But there you go. I mean, apart from that, I watched Sisters and Trainwreck had a bit of a girly double bill over the week.
I was going to say, when you said Sisters, I was like, is that the Tina Fey one or the fucking Brian De Palma one? I was like, because I wasn't sure which one you meant, but was it the Tina Fey one?
Yeah, that is, that's her name, isn't it? And Amy Thingamajig.
Juba, yeah.
Yeah.
Both featuring John Cena as well.
Yeah, funnily enough. Cena double bill. That was a random coincidence.
I've heard he's great in both, actually.
He is, yeah, he's really funny in both. It's girly, but I would recommend Sisters. It's quite a laugh. It's vulgar without going too far.
Yeah, I remember hearing a lot about it when it came out, because it was coming out like the same weekend as Force Awakens.
Just getting totally buried.
Yeah.
It's good. It's got surprisingly edgy humour in it. Like, I think, like, Christ, I wonder if, like, some people went to see this film with, like, people that they shouldn't have gone to see it with, if you know,
yeah,
like mums and dads or whatever, and being like, like dying at all the cock jokes.
I think though that Cena's role, weirdly, in Trainwreck is kind of based on Dolph Ziggler, because he used to go out with her.
Right.
Yeah.
That is weird.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah. No, he's good in it, though. He's funny. And you totally get to see his arse as well at one point. Which, to be fair, I could have done without.
Yeah, well, you know.
It's like fully in the nude. I think they talked about it on Total Divas on one episode.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
He does like a love scene, doesn't he, in the film? So it was like, oh, that's what they're talking about, that bit.
This bit's like a prelude to anyone who doesn't watch wrestling. It's how lost they're going to be in the next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, who's Dolph fucking Ziggler? What?
What? Total Divas? But that's it. That's my wrap-up there of the week.
I think the only films I've watched since the last show was I had a rather light-hearted romantic double bill on Sunday of Alan Clark's Made in Britain and Scum.
Yeah, you went like the opposite way to me.
I did, just a bit. I just think it was like Sunday afternoon. I was like, you know what? I don't think I'd seen Made in Britain all the way through, and I'd been rewatching This Is England, like the series over the past couple of months. So I was like, I want to watch some more skinhead shenanigans. So I went back to fucking Made in Britain. It's a great film, but it's just depressing as out. Yeah, Tim Roth's fucking amazing in it.
Not seen either.
It's well worth Made in Britain just for Tim Roth's performance. He's fucking terrifying and such a bastard in it, but there's no wrap up. Oh, now he's nice. It's just there's no wrap up whatsoever. Nice. It's literally just a chronicling of a twat for like 75 minutes, and then Scum, which is always nice to see again. You know what I noticed this time? Yeah, you know the infamous greenhouse scene.
Well, yeah, I do.
Not the main. But, the main rapist is Sean Chapman, who played Frank in Hellraiser. Oh,
really?
And he's in Made in Britain as well.
That's smart. Yeah, because he wasn't in many films, was he, really? I guess.
I don't know. He talks about his career on the Leviathan documentary. I think he was a theatre guy as well, actually.
Yeah, I just remember, like, when we were doing the review, I looked over his IMDb and there wasn't anything that jumped out of that jumped out at me, I should say.
Well, you just got to remember Pot and Shed. That's all you need to remember.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still horrible. I remember when I first saw that scene, like, totally out of context, flipping over the channels when I was, like, 11.
Yeah.
I mean, Wickham watched it, we were like, what the fuck's this? Oh, it's horrible. Such a depressing film.
Yeah, I can't remember. I've seen a bit of it, like, and I just remember you talking about it and stuff.
Yeah. The film itself's great, but it's just, like, depressing as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad, in a way, there's no such thing as Boston anymore, but at the same time, I'm thinking there's a lot of people that deserve to be in Boston.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had its purpose, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. You know, Ray Winston being all 12 and hard and that.
Yeah.
Can't beat that. Yeah. But yeah, that's that.
But I was going to say, just before he started being in, like, fucking Indiana Jones and stuff. And...
Well, let's not hold that against him. If you're going to say that, you may as well have a go to Harrison Ford and Spielberg.
I suppose, true.
He didn't write his shitty schizophrenic character, did he? So yeah, we'll get on to Making a Murderer then, but first, I'm going to have to urinate. I don't want to be piss myself in the middle of this conversation.
I'll do the same thing. We'll have a urination break.
Let's have a urination break, sir.
Very good.
Jabby.
See you in a moment.
Right, we've had a urination break.
Yes, it was well needed.
It was. We're joined now by Stacey with an S. Hello, Stacey.
Hi, everyone.
Which you haven't been on the show, technically, officially, since, like, episode 50.
That's like 49 episodes ago.
And 2 years.
2 years, really?
Yeah, because it was around the time we did the WrestleMania 30 show.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, WrestleMania. Flipping heck, that is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making a comeback.
Yeah, making a comeback indeed. So we're going to be talking about Making a Murderer. So, first question. Do you think he did it? Hold on. By the way...
Spoilers.
Yeah, people who haven't seen it yet. Spoilers. Because you should really go and watch it. It's worth getting Netflix. Like, get your Netflix trial if you've never got it, just to watch.
Yeah.
It is, definitely.
So if you don't want to know anything, skip forward about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, well, we'll probably we'll have the break.
Yeah,
I guess. So if you don't want any spoilers, skip to the next part of the show.
So when you hear Tannis.
Yeah.
Which is probably going to be the case once again.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you think he did it?
It's a tough one, isn't it? I think the easier question is to answer is I don't think the young lad had any involvement.
Definitely not.
Definitely
no,
not.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, with him, I don't think so. I think why would he? What's the point? What would he have to gain?
Yeah.
There's too much for him to lose at the point he supposedly did it.
He's been in prison for like 18 years. He's lost all that time with his mum and his dad and the rest of his family. He's on like the cusp of winning however many $1 million it was. It seems like... And also, I know he had like... He'd committed some like violent attacks and stuff previously, apparently.
Yeah.
I've read online.
And set a cat on fire or something.
Yeah, like that was in the documentary. But, and there's people online saying, oh yeah, like that's a sign of a psychopath and all this sort of thing. But there's a big jump between that and, murdering someone and putting the body on a bonfire.
Yeah.
So,
like immediately in front of his house where anyone could have found it and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't have the form for that. I mean, how many people commit violent attacks? Loads. But, most of them don't then go on to commit a murder of that sort of magnitude.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen all the stuff that they're saying they didn't put in the documentary that counts as evidence against him?
Yeah, I've seen some of that stuff.
Yeah, some of the criticisms was obviously that it was a little bit biased. The documentary.
It's hard not to be biased, though. Like, if I was the documentary makers, I would find it hard not to be biased.
Yeah. Like, they were saying that he said in prison... Like in the 18 years he was in prison, that he's going to like create a torture dungeon and kill women when he gets out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like, that could just be some cellmate of his looking for attention.
Yeah.
Or it could be him pretty much just trying to fit in prison. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to say stuff like that, aren't you? Just to fit, like you said, to fit in to the nutters that you're in prison with.
Yeah. And then there's that whole thing about they found DNA under the bonnet of her car.
Yeah, like the sweat. Or something. Like they said they found his sweat, but then, and I don't know anything about this and I haven't looked into it, but I've seen loads of people say that like sweat doesn't have DNA and stuff. So considering there was so much evidence put forward by the
defence.
No, not the defence. The
prosecution.
The prosecution against him. Where at first I was like, "Oh my god, this really proves he's guilty." Like when they wheel out like Brendan Dassey in the first place and stuff. And then as the defence start to explore it and stuff, you're like, "Oh, that was just like a load of rubbish and stuff," And the prosecution managed to like spin it in such a way, and that could just be another thing that they've spun, for all I know.
I mean, the thing that I kept waiting for them to go back to, I think it's in maybe the second episode, when it's the footage that the police shot of his trailer when they were searching it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're saying, like, oh, look, a letter. He's not going to be going to that. Or should we take his shoes to frame him for, like, recent burglaries? And I'm like, why the fuck was that never played in court? I mean, maybe it was and we didn't say it, but it seems weird they never revisited that and put them on the spot and saying, why are you saying all this stuff? Because it sounds really malicious.
It does, yeah.
And so they were, basically.
Yeah, and that whole thing, like, I think it's like the end of the first episode when they're saying, like, have we got a body yet? And they're like, oh, no, we don't. And they're like, but have we got Steve Avery in custody? They're like, oh, yeah, we're...
Yeah, like, they've already assumed his guilt.
Yeah.
Basically. Which is, like, essentially the theme of that show.
It is.
Like, fucking everyone just assumes his guilt, like, immediately.
Yeah.
It's too many things come together to where you can go, you can't really go, it's a complete coincidence. Like, he's just about to take the county or the state for like millions.
That's it, yeah.
And the exact same people who arrested him in the first place 18 years ago, who have nothing to do with this case, suddenly find out. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely, yeah. And all the stuff around how the neighbouring town's police were meant to be the ones investigating, but then they weaseled the ways into it, and then they're the ones that found like the evidence.
Like on the first occasion that guy was on his own, he was the one that found the evidence, like the keys. Yeah. Stuff. Like the first time he was like unsupervised.
Yeah, like what was it, like 8 times? Yeah. The 8th time that they'd searched it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fucking... There's just so many things in it that you think, what?
Yeah. I think even... I'd probably lean towards innocence, but even if he is guilty, there's a lot of like, well, if he is guilty, then why did that happen? It all looks very, very dodgy from the police and the legal perspective as well.
And I'm on the side of one of the lawyers who says he doesn't believe for a second that woman was guided by God or whatever to find the car.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at that lot of cars, and that is not the first place you would go to.
It's like a small town of cars. It's ridiculously big, yeah.
And I think the natural thing would be to go, like when you were looking down at the map of it, would be to come in the entrance, walk down the first row of cars, go back, and that bit where they found the car would literally be like the last place that you get to. Yeah. I don't believe that's the first place they'd go to. And as well, like the fact that he didn't crush the car when he had a car crusher on site, like that stuff drives me mad.
Yeah. There was a good video on YouTube of, the part where that officer, is it Colburn? The cop.
Yes, sounds right, yeah.
When he like 2 days before they found the car, he calls up dispatch and asks for a license plate number and stuff.
Yeah.
And someone took that and said, you can hear someone in the background saying the car's here.
That's right, yeah. And they were trying to argue that it was, I can't remember what they said, but like a car that he'd seen in passing or something like that, rather than it actually being there. But you could just tell it. You could tell he was stood there reading the license plate.
Exactly. Yeah,
you tell by his, like, I don't know. You can get a sixth sense for someone's mannerism when you hear them talking. Sometimes you can kind of, you can hear in someone's voice if they're leaning, and you can things like that. So you could kind of hear he was observing something and reading it.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's when, like, this video on YouTube when you hear a faint voice in the background saying the car's here, and he goes, okay, right, yeah, thanks. And they compared that voice to the woman who eventually found the car 2 days later, and it does sound like the same person.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because, like, how the hell would she know? Why did someone give her a direct line to the sheriff or whatever and a digital camera just in case?
Yeah, well, that was dodgy as well. Like, she specifically got split off to go and look at Stephen Avery's lot, and she got given the camera. I mean, there's just so many coincidences that I just can't believe that he did it and he wasn't set up.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest, like, I know Stephen Avery, if he is innocent, he's a total victim, but the Brendan Dassey thing's horrible, man. The guy's, low IQ.
Yeah.
Just, like,
Well, he's basically like, he's fucking special needs, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's pretty much there. And they always dance around the subject. In the UK, he would be totally classed as vulnerable, and he would have had, like, support the entire way through.
Yeah, there'd have been, like, a social worker or a child psychologist or something brought on board to basically say, look, this lad is repeating back at you what you're saying to him. Yeah. He's not just coming up with this, he's not admitting to anything here.
Yeah. It's amazing that anyone in that courtroom could have watched that quote-unquote confession and went, oh yeah, he totally did it.
Yeah. I mean, we were convinced that he wasn't going to be found guilty. I was like, I will eat my hat if he is found guilty. And when he was, I just couldn't believe it. The injustice.
Just total, like, fucking, almost like redneck judges, though, that are all like, you're a devil worshipping son of a bitch, and I'll send you to hell. And it was that kind of judge where you just knew he was going to find him guilty no matter what.
Yeah, and it was like, basically, when he said at the end of the Stephen Avery case, like, in light of your violent attacks, because of what you've done previously, I have no doubt in believing this sort of thing. And it's like, well, what are you referring to? Because the horrible, like, attempted murder and rape that he was meant to have committed was committed by somebody else. I'm not saying he's a great guy. He's obviously done some stuff in his past, but nothing that I would suggest immediately leads up to this horrific murder that he's meant to have committed.
You get the impression as well early on in probably the first episode that like their family is like the weirdo family of that entire county.
Yeah, definitely. I think they were saying that, weren't they? That there was a lot of old, the Averys do this, and that's one of the Averys and stuff, and that you're tarred with that brush automatically.
And also, probably, like, they're pissed off at the fact that they seem to have a bit of money. In terms of, like, they had their own business, and they had, like, sizable amounts of land and stuff.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised, again, if there was, like, full-on redneck cops who, like, busted the balls for 30 years, but, like, resented the Averys because, like, they did actually have, like, a business and land and shit.
Yeah.
And so took the opportunity once again to just attack them. Like, all right, so people are, like, the petty criminals and like idiots and stuff, but do they deserve to get fucking sent to jail for, like, their life?
Yeah.
No.
It's mad.
And considering that first time he got sent to prison was because of, like, his sister-in-law? Or someone?
Can't remember.
Or was it one of his aunts? So, the woman that he drove off the road, basically.
It was his cousin, I think.
His cousin, that's right. And he'd, like, driven her off the road because she'd been, like, he said, like, spreading lies about him and stuff.
Yeah.
He got out with a gun and stuff. But then the fact that, like, one of the people that was, like, looking after him professionally was saying, I can understand, given his IQ, that would have been an automatic thought that he would have had, that, yes, this will sort out the problem.
Yeah.
Stuff. And that was what that's what started off all that first case where he put in prison for 18 years. It's ridiculous.
It's just mad that, like, even if you know, like, basic, like, human psychology and, like, telltale signs and stuff, there's loads of times when people are on the stand, you're going, he's lying.
Yeah. It's always the police as well.
Yeah, exactly, where they're, like, blinking weird and, like, looking off to the side and, like, they're getting all dry mouth and shit.
Yeah.
Like the bit where, the guy who does that interview, he's like, he was the Brendan Dassey's first lawyer's, like, investigator.
He
gets them to write it down and he goes, no, that's not what happened, write this, draw these pictures.
Yeah, that's horrible. Like, draw her on the bed with, like, chains on her and ropes on her.
And then they, like, use that in evidence, even though, like, he told them to draw it.
Yeah.
And you can just, it's so sad because you can just see, like, the internal struggle in Brendan between, like, this is what actually happened, but I'm being told to draw these pictures and say these things.
And when he's called to the stand and he starts, like, getting emotional, I was just like, you're not getting emotional because of the fucking ribbon in the church. You're probably getting emotional because you've just fucking condemned this kid to, like, life in prison.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that was ridiculous, that scene.
I
just keep thinking about the ribbon.
I've forgotten about that scene. That was amazing. Yeah. It was good when it happened the first time, but the second time when he broke down and he was like, I can't stop thinking about the ribbon. It was like, come on. Yeah. If you're an investigator, you see this sort of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that a ribbon is going to set you off.
Yeah.
I must say, though, I do, like, I just love that accent, like that Wisconsin, like, rural accent stuff, because it's, like, borderline Canadian, but not. And
yeah.
I just love the phone calls between Brandon and his mother, which is just like, why'd you tell him that? I don't know. You know you're going to go to prison, right? Yeah. It wasn't funny, but it kind of made us chuckle.
Yeah, the voices were funny, and I must admit.
A total grim bit when Brendan was all like, I'll miss WrestleMania. So
when he was saying that, when his mum was saying you're going to be being held until at least this date and stuff, and he was like, but I'm going to miss WrestleMania. I know, like, and again, it's not funny, but I know I've seen, like, memes since with a picture of his face and, like, your face when you realise you're going to miss WrestleMania and stuff.
I saw, like, Valentine memes the other day for Making a Murderer. I was pissed myself.
Did you? Which ones?
Oh, I can't remember what the word. Wiggum was posting them on his girlfriend's wall on Facebook.
I saw, you've probably seen it because I've seen it in a couple of places, but the picture of, like, Stephen Avery's, the two lawyers, like, picture of them with things like girl crush and stuff written alongside them. Because, they seem like nice guys, and they're obviously trying to do what was right for them and
they did seem cool, the two lawyers, like, the main ones that defended them.
Out of everyone in it, they're probably the most genuine people in the entire thing.
Definitely, yeah.
Like, the bloody district attorney and that, you can tell he's a fucking bent piece of shit completely.
The guy with the tash.
Yeah,
him.
What's his name? Kratz or something.
Yeah. And like I said to you, like in the other show, like they just look like villains.
It is like they've all been cast, isn't it? Yeah. With him, I know. Again, I saw another meme where he was like, it was him in the court case, and he was like pointing, like making a point, and the thing underneath was, "This is my sexting finger." Because I love that bit when he gets found out for sexting.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, like that just shows like the type of character he has, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
Like, if he's doing that, he's like willing to take advantage of like victims of sexual abuse.
Yeah, like, domestic violence.
Yeah, like fucking what else would he be willing to do?
But yeah, I know what you mean though. Like as soon as people come out, I was like, this guy's a bad guy, because you can just do that. Like certain people in it, like the especially just certain, like even most of the cops that were accused of doing something a bit dodgy, just like, he looks guilty.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
What did you think about the episode where they find the blood?
Yeah, because that was like a proper 24 moment.
I knew that would be the bit you were talking about.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I was totally like, yeah, this is fake.
Yeah,
this is fake.
We looked at each other at the end of that episode and we were like, are we absolutely sure that this is real? And we had to like carefully Google it to just make sure that it was real.
That's the great thing about it. It's so unbelievable.
Yeah.
That like when you keep reminding yourself it's real, it's just even more shocking.
I know, yeah. Because I was worried about getting caught into a thing where they were like, you remember like when Spinal Tap, like Americans thought that was real and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be like, oh yeah, all these Britons thought that like making a murder was actually real.
Yeah, you're going on Facebook and there's people going, "Let me shoot."
Yeah.
Yes, he's like actually an actor and stuff, Stephen Avery and that, and we're all like, oh shit.
What do you think of I just had a weird feeling. I'm not saying anything, but I just had a weird feeling about Teresa Halbach's brother throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. Was it the brother and the ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, there was something strange about that. I don't know what it was.
I think one of the things about it was, like, part of the evidence that came up was about voicemails, wasn't it? And the fact that, like, one of them, well, some of them had been deleted because of the capacity of the mailbox and stuff.
Yeah, and they just guessed the password and
guessing the password and stuff, which just doesn't make sense.
He just didn't get him to elaborate on it whatsoever. He was just like, we just had an idea and it was pretty easy. Okay, moving on. I was like, come on.
That's it, and they never got. In fact, I think the judge chucked the evidence out, didn't they, saying that it wasn't relevant or something.
Maybe, yeah.
About like that was why the voicemails and the boyfriend and the brother and stuff didn't get sort of questioned anymore on it. But I think, well, what was on those voicemails? And they never sort of, because the defence wanted to include something in evidence, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they never got the opportunity to. But you think, what was it? You know, could it have actually affected the case? Yeah. That's what I don't like with, just the legal system generally. There's all this stuff there that could potentially lead to an accurate, guilty or innocent thing, but because of how you have to put together a legal case, you can't include it. Like, the judge will say, oh, that's not relevant, and it doesn't get included and stuff. Like, could there just be a ton of cases where the evidence is right there, but they just weren't allowed to include it in the case? Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's an insane documentary series.
It is,
yeah. Twists and turns of it.
The way that it's like filmed and edited and everything is just fantastic. I mean, it's a beautiful looking series. It looks great, and just the fact that they've managed to, even though the first bit of the case started in like 2003 or 4 or something like that. Even though it's finished now, all the trial obviously finished like a couple of years ago and stuff. But it makes you feel like it's happening right now. Yeah. And like you're discovering everything at the same time as the people that you're watching on screen. Yeah. Which is just insane how they've managed to give you that feeling when they've put it together. It was
annoying for me because I was like, how you go back to the menu on Netflix and like you select the next episode, because my Netflix on PS4 Netflix is shit.
Is it?
Is it? Oh, no.
Constantly doesn't load, and when it does load, you'll watch one episode, and when you go back to the menu's not there, so you got to restart it. It doesn't load, and I was just like, I want to watch the next fucking episode. So I would like avert my eyes from the next episode down in case there was any spoilers in the synopsis.
Yeah.
So I just kept saying, when I was on the last episode, unknowingly, I thought there was one more episode, but it was the the trailer for the series.
Oh,
underneath.
no.
So I got to the end of the last episode and was like, fucking hell, that's it!
The end.
I was honestly expecting some sort of, like, conclusion.
Or something.
Yeah.
And it's even more gutting that there's no conclusion.
It is, yeah. I mean, it makes you think, like, where are we going to be, like, 5-10 years down the line? Will anything have changed with regards to the case? Will they maybe do something else, showing, like, what happens in the future with Steve Avery
but
and
it's just
Brendan?
mad, like, with Brendan, though, like, just the repeated attempts to get, like, it looked at, and, like, they're literally, like, please, sir, we have all this evidence that we want you to look at. Judge is like, no. Is essentially the process that's happening in that state. Yeah. No, because I was probably right the first time.
Yeah.
They're like even refusing to review it. It's like, that's fucked up, that.
I mean, how Brendan Dassey has been in prison for, 8 years? 9 years? On the evidence. I mean, the fact that he was, put
no
down
evidence,
at all,
basically.
Is ridiculous. But 8 years, that's a long time.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is he looked he looked massively different, and he'd obviously put weight on since going in, because he's a man now, isn't he, in comparison to when he went in. Yeah. But he does look better. Like, I don't know whether it's his personality is more. He was more confident when you saw him. And stuff. Yeah, like, I don't know whether it's if he's been in with sort of young offender type people, whether it's just being with a lot of people his own age or something like that. But it does seem to have improved his confidence and stuff. So I suppose if there's one thing to come out of this, I wouldn't exactly say it's it's an equal trade, but there you go.
But yeah, seriously, folks, if you've listened to this point, you haven't watched it, we'll just spoil the shit out of it for you. But
well, yeah.
If you're one of those people who don't care, just go and watch it, because it's cracking. You'll be flicking to the next episode immediately. Like, I was up at like 3 a.m. watching the first 6 episodes. So.
Yeah,
we watched them pretty crammed in.
Yeah, I think it was like a couple of days, wasn't it? We watched it over. Yeah. I think the difficulty with trying to get people to watch it is you tell them about the first bit, where he's been in prison for 18 years and stuff. But you don't really want to spoil the plot twist of the fact that he then gets picked back up.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I knew the title of the show, obviously, going in. Yeah. And at the end of the first episode, I was still surprised at the twist at the end, like the murder thing.
Yeah.
And then I was watching the second episode and I went, of course, man, it's called Making a Murderer.
Yeah.
Like, I totally avoided that, obviously, when I talked to you about it last week. It's about him trying to, like, clear his name.
Yeah.
But, it's essentially, it's him trying to clear his name from something new that happens.
Yeah. It's difficult, because when you try to say to people it's about this guy who was in prison for 18 years, they kind of think it's like another boring true crime documentary sort of thing. So to actually get them to watch it and then realise why it is that he gets a hook to it, it's hard to give them that push initially, but once they've watched it and they've got hooked after that first one, like, people just can't stop watching it. I know.
All it takes is the first episode, really.
Basically.
Yeah.
At the end of the first episode, you're like, no way.
Well, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
So we'll take a small Atanis break.
As always.
And then we'll come back and talk about Beyond the Met. More documentary shenanigans.
A bit of a documentary double bill.
Pretty much is, yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to have to change the theme of this, like the title of this show now, because that was pretty much a full review of Making a Murderer.
It was.
So yes, we'll catch you in a bit. Yes.
Wafu FM.
Hey, what you cream? She wears a mini skirt and a flowery shirt. She feels so restless
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoyed once again the silky sounds of a tennis.
Oh, yes. Who wouldn't, though? Who wouldn't?
I'm not sure which song I'm going to include this week, you see.
So much to choose from.
There is so much to choose from. So we're going to get on with the main review of the show, which is Barry Blaustein's Beyond the Mat from 1999, which is, you know, if anyone hasn't seen the documentary, they might know it as the film that kind of inspired the Mickey Rourke movie The Wrestler.
Yeah, definitely did, didn't it? I always watch that film and totally think, Jake the Snake.
Yeah, Jake the Snake / a bit of Terry Funk.
Yeah, because the Terry Funk thing, like not wanting to give up wrestling.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, yeah.
So Barry Blaustein, he wrote for SNL in the early 80s, and he co-wrote Coming to America, actually. If you want on for that, because that film's fucking hilarious.
Nice, classic.
He also co-wrote The Night Professor.
Which is not so much of a big deal.
It's alright, but you know, it's not Coming to America.
No. I've only ever seen it once, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah. Although I keep thinking, I'm like, have I seen it, or am I just thinking of the fucking Dr. Dolittle? Because all those fucking Eddie Murphy films blend together.
Yeah, there could easily just be one film.
Yeah, I'm just like, in one he wears loads of fat suits, which one's that? But it was filmed over a period of 3 years, judging from the pay-per-views and stuff. It's probably like 97 to 99.
Yeah.
And follows a bunch of different wrestlers, and mainly, for the two big companies, it's WWF and ECW. There's no WCW in it because apparently they declined, which is weird for WCW. You'd think they'd be like, include us, we are the best.
Yeah, like they would want exposure or something. Or, I don't know, maybe they just kind of sensed that they were going to... Maybe something tipped them off that they were going to do, like... Because it's a bit of a negative documentary in a way.
It's negative, but it's fucking honest.
It is, yeah. And it's weird, though. It's a weird documentary, because I don't think that was the filmmaker's intentions.
No.
I don't think he intended, but... Yeah, like anyone that doesn't really know wrestling watching it would probably walk away with like a bit of taste in the mouth about wrestling.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, so which is weird because like he's flying the flag of like wrestling's cool. You shouldn't be ashamed to like it.
Then he shows all the dark, horrible shit that comes with it.
Yeah, so it's a weird documentary for that. Like he doesn't do, I think, what he set out to do.
And I mean, it had the blessing of Vince McMahon, WWF Vince McMahon, but
it did up to a point.
And then he saw it and was like, "Fuck this shit."
Didn't he? Like, obviously, try to like, you know, sue them and all sorts.
He tried to back out, and then he just, you know, I think it's the Wikipedia page says something like he withdrew advertising for it on Raw and stuff like that, but he just basically pulled his support, and he couldn't get it banned or whatever, unreleased, so, you know, not what you can do about it, really. No. He signed a contract to be involved, so...
Yeah.
God damn it! Yeah, and just sips his water like a man. So should we go through it sequentially?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. We'll talk through it, because that's how my notes are.
Yeah, same, yeah. So he kicks off with, obviously, WWF, with it being the biggest, although technically at the time they were getting their arse handed to them. If this is 97, they were getting their arse handed to them by WCW. So.
They certainly were, yeah. I suppose it's just in terms of, like, in everyone's memory, WWF is, even, like, back then, it was the bigger brand.
And I still think, yeah, in America maybe, WCW is bigger, but worldwide, you say wrestling, American wrestling, people are going to say WWF.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So we'll get, he gives us a brief overview first of why he likes wrestling. He calls it like just theatrics, and it's theatre and live theatre and stuff, which is what I always say, all it is just, it's live action theatre. That's what it is, yeah.
Essentially, he sums up why I like wrestling, why most wrestling fans like it, because it's the pageantry and stuff, and... Yeah. And the fake drama and stuff.
Yeah, and he points out that, you know, it's goofy, it's cheesy, but that's why it's fun.
I like, though, how it totally addresses, like, the elephant in the room immediately. Like, because it's weird that it needed addressing at one time, the whole, it is fake.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? I guess even back then, there was still an element of, like, some people were like, oh, don't you know it's fake?
Oh, no.
And it was like,
fucking hell, man. Recently, there was a Daniel Bryan interview on Good Morning America, like, this morning, I think, actually. It was on the Squared Circle Reddit. And, like, in that, even, they're like, well, wrestling, is it fake? And I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, like, doesn't everyone know that?
It's because there is still people out there that would, like, question, that don't watch it, that would question whether people actually believe it's real or not. It's like those people on YouTube where, like, you think, like, oh, I'm going to look up that, classic match from back in the day that isn't on the network or whatever.
Yeah.
First comment, you know, this is fake, right, you fucking sad cunts. And you're like, Yes.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not 2.
Yeah, it's weird. And then again, though, you get that with everything like that. I used to always get people, when people found out I liked Star Trek, and that would be like, you know, it's not real, you know. I'm like, what kind of a fucking comment is that? Yeah. Like, is that the only thing you can say to try and insult the fact that I like Star Trek?
Yeah, that's so
Do you
weird.
know it's real?
I can't believe people actually said that to you about fucking Star Trek, which is like a fictional show setting out, like, you know, setting out of space in the future. People are like, it's big, you know.
Well, you know, you got to put it in perspective. I did work with a bunch of Geordies who are like, you didn't like football.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So, you know, that's how it was back then.
But, he kicks off with WWF. We'll get a brief overview, and you briefly see Test. I don't know if you notice in the lobby. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
in WWE.
Great, like some of the background people in this that you see. To be fair.
And there's lots of tragedy comes out of this documentary, not because of it, but be like, you know, prologues afterwards that, you know, Test's no longer with him anymore. He died.
Yeah.
And we'll get to see I forgot how close to the start. It's been a while since I watched this. How close to the start Smug Vince is.
I totally made a point of writing that down, going straight into the classic Vince face interview.
It's hard to explain if you haven't seen it, but like, I've never seen anyone look as smug and like, I'm rich and fucking awesome as when drinking a bottle of water.
It's just like, we make movies.
And then gives this like cocky head nod and eyebrow raise, and then just swigs his bottle of water, and the camera stays on him for an uncomfortable amount of time.
The cameraman's like, lap it all up. Oh yes,
up all the sleeves. Get a little bit of old Attitude Era writer Vince Russo and Sable. Just get a brief bit, which I imagine would have went on longer if the film needed it, like with Jim Johnson, who did all the music and stuff like that. But
yeah, they didn't touch on that. Yeah, they mentioned it. They mentioned that there's like a person that does like all the outfits and stuff and music. Yeah. But they glance over a lot of the technical side of it.
Yeah, but you know, there's a lot more. I guess once he started and then realised what he had to cut down on loads of the other stuff. Yeah,
there's quite a cool little bit where they address like the whole merchandising thing. Like essentially, that's what powers wrestling. Wrestlers are popular so they can sell merchandise.
Yeah.
There's quite a funny bit when Jim Bell, who's senior vice president of merchandising at that point, and he says, it does make me laugh, this comment, he says, there's a direct correlation between WWF and the Muppet Show. Mm-hmm. I always laugh at it. I kind of say, like, what's he saying there? I don't know, it's just kind of funny.
He's got a point.
He does, but I just laugh at the fact he's comparing the staff to Muppets.
Yeah, you could look at it like that,
I always laugh. That's sort of like putting me notes, lol, you said it, mate.
But then we'll get to meet Droz.
Probably one of the saddest things about this, I guess.
Yeah, but it's also one of the most infamous moments of this documentary.
It is, yeah. And it really does show how fucking stupid, like, WWE or WWF at that time's creative is. They're all like...
let's be honest, it shows how insane Vince is. Yeah,
well, it does. But, you know, it's just like someone like goes in and they're like an amazing wrestler and stuff, and Vince is like, hey, I noticed you got kind of a big nose there. You're going to be the sniffing man. That's kind of like how they create their wrestlers' characters. It's like, what?
And because Droz was a football player who had the strange talent of being able to puke on command, they went, well, you're going to be puke.
Like they don't even try to be clever with it, just puke. And your gimmick is you puke on people. Like,
you can kind of tell by Droz that he's like, all right. Fuck.
Yeah, like, and when he's on the phone to his mum and stuff, and you're like, oh god, he knows it's shit. He wants to be a serious wrestler that people are buying like the t-shirts and that. Yeah. He knows no one is going to wear a puke t-shirt.
And thankfully that gimmick didn't last long.
No,
they chucked him with Legion of Doom eventually, and then with like Prince Albert and stuff like that. He did spew on people now and then. It was disgusting.
Yeah, it was probably a bit much, even for the Attitude Era.
Yeah, definitely.
Too far that.
I see the casual way Vince describes it, like when you vomit on your opponent or the referee.
Yeah. And then obviously when he grabs the bin and he's like, I just wanted to do one more thing.
Oh, it's the best bit of the whole documentary. He's gone up, puke! He's gone up, puke!
He like edits himself. Yeah. At one point. He like does a bit of a jingle with it.
Goes like, he's gonna puke!
fucking ridiculous.
Vince is fucking great at times, isn't he? He's genuinely insane. I think Vince is an insane genius.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Oh my God, he's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! That's it.
Oh, man.
But yeah, going on to Draws, like what happened a few years later, he was paralysed from the neck down during a match.
Yeah.
Which is terrible, man.
Kind of grim, yeah. It came at a time when, like, WWE was all over the place, really, in terms of, like, fighting off criticism and stuff as well. And, you know, like, all the safety issues they were having. And right up until fucking the Chris Benoit stuff.
Yeah, they've always had that, really.
Yeah, and that's, like, the most recent thing where they've had to knuckle down and go, right, we're a proper company, we need to, like, do things properly.
I can't remember, I should have looked this up. I can't remember if that was, I think it was it after the Owen Hart thing? The Draws?
Yeah, definitely. It was close enough to it that to the drama of it all, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was after it, yeah.
And it wasn't anything like, as you'll see later in the documentary, it wasn't anything like jumping off a cage. It was literally a powerbomb gone wrong. It was like water, and no one really knows. Some people say, because it was D'Lo Brown who gave him the powerbomb.
Yeah.
And it was either like he slipped on a T-shirt that was in the ring, or the mat was wet, and it was just a freak accident. It was nobody's fault.
Just one of them things, yeah. You know, danger that all wrestlers face when they're throwing each other about and stuff.
Yeah, that's another thing that annoys me when people like have to like berate it because it's quote unquote fake. It's like, it's still really fucking dangerous. It's like putting on a live stunt show for 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's you know, and anything. Look at Seth Rollins recently. You know, like he's doing like a run of the mill house show to like a smaller crowd. He does a move that he's done hundreds of times before, and
wrecks his knee.
Yeah, just because he slips, his knees torn to shreds and stuff. It's just it can happen. Yeah.
And next we'll move on to a smaller indie company called All Pro Wrestling, ran by Roland Alexander, who was
the lovely sleazy fucker.
I do love that. We'll meet Tony Jones and Mike Modest, who are two of his like proteges in All Pro Wrestling. And I love the edit between Tony Jones going, yeah, sometimes I don't even get paid at all. There's no excuse for not paying anyone. Then it cuts to Roland Alexander goes, these guys are getting paid loads of money. They love it. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And then like, it's such a nicely done thing because he's telling them like, that Roland guy's telling them like they have some sort of like, what's the right word, like orientation day for the newbies, don't they?
Yeah.
Like in one bit, and he's saying like, you know, you have to realise straight off the bat, there's no money in indie wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's like, so you know, you don't get into, but by the way, there is no money in it, but I need $500 up front from you. It's like, kind of like, so there's fucking money in it for you, you sleazy bastard.
Exactly.
He's getting $500 off them just for like turning up.
Like even at the end montage, you like when he refers to the different kind of people, he's like, there's carnies, and it goes straight to
He's in like the stuff like, I mean, it's later on, but like the revelation that he would be getting like 20% of their contract and that.
Yeah.
I think, you sleazeball, no way.
But the two guys do get tryouts with WWF.
They do, yeah. It's kind of like this is the whole segment, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, and no one's sure. I saw a shoot interview with Jim Cornette recently. He was in this briefly, and he was saying he couldn't remember whether they were getting a tryout anyway, or they were getting a tryout simply because there was a documentary being made. He couldn't remember. But I guess either way.
Both, yeah. I mean, it's not really... It was a weird tryout. They'd never do a tryout like that now.
No, just like go straight out and have a live match.
Yeah, just go and have a match.
Back then, not now. It'd be like, get the performance center.
Yeah. So it was quite a crazy thing. That's sad for them. Because obviously, you know, could have changed their lives and stuff. And
well, I was looking up afterwards. Mike Modest went on to do. He's still a wrestler. He worked in Japan for a bit, which made me happy because he says in the documentary he would love to work in Japan.
Oh, right, yeah, it's one thing I meant to do. Look at where they are now. Yeah.
And Tony Jones ended up having a bunch of appearances, pretty much as a jobber or enhancement talent, if you don't want to be rude.
Yeah,
on like throughout the 2000s, now and then on like the B shows like Metal and Jacked and stuff like that.
Right.
So he's still got to work there eventually, but he's retired now. So.
Is he? Yeah.
Because I was always curious as to what they went on to do next. I'd never checked it before until we decided.
Yeah, I did mean to do that before the show. That's all that's cool about Mike Modest, like, because I mean, Christ, bless him, you could see he was in like his life was in a bit of a shitty place. Didn't he? Like he lives above like the wrestling thing. He lives in like a dingy little flat, and like it's such a great like fly in the wall bit when like he goes into his little flat. Mm-hmm. He's like there with these cats and these fridges in the background and stuff.
And during the day, he transports bodies for an Undertaker.
Just got such a crazy life.
I do love the moment though where they're having the tryout match like before Raw. And JR and Jim Cornette's watching them on, and then Vince comes by and his reaction to that suplex, so he's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, totally winces, and he's like, what was that?
He does do a move that surprises them all, and I think Thrasher from the Headbangers is like, I'm stealing it.
Yeah.
And of course, Sheamus would steal it, because that's White Knight's finisher.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's a move, it's kind of like a variant of a move that a lot of people do nowadays as well. Like, obviously, Kevin Owens kind of does a very similar move.
I'm guessing a lot of young guys watched this growing up, like, because there were a lot of the wrestlers now with the same age as us, so they would have saw this in the teens and went, that was a cool move.
yeah, I'm loving that.
Yeah.
It's Vince obviously is a total badass at this point as well, though, when he's like, I've got to go, you taping this?
Yeah, he's just the guy from Goku Midnight.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. You're a badass when you haven't got time to watch something that's fairly important, so you get an underling to tape it.
I want to tape it so I can watch it like that. And he swigs his water.
He swigs his water and walks off with his grapefruit walk, or whatever he calls it.
Swinging in the wind. We meet Mick Foley now.
Yes, yeah, we do. Yeah,
the only guy that's shown to congratulate Tony Jones, showing what a fucking sterling bloke Mick Foley is.
Yeah, like I think he says it himself. Like in this, doesn't he say like he wants to be like one of the nicest or one of the?
Yeah, I do like that. It's kind of tongue in cheek, but it's probably genuine as well.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
You know, and his dad's like, I'm not saying this as his son. I'm saying this as a person. He's one of the nicest, most polite people. And he's like, yes, I want to be remembered as the world's most polite wrestler.
Well, he definitely seemed like that anyway, for real.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, when we met him, we were shitting ourselves, but he was nice enough.
Yeah, definitely. Just give her a handshake and stuff, which I know he doesn't like doing, so.
I so fucking regret that now, man. Every time I think back to it, I'm just like, why didn't I fucking say something else?
Right. Well, I mean, you meet someone that you've idolised.
Like, I had something in my mind to tell him. And then I got up there, and I was like, hiya. And then the guy was like, right, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want this autograph? Or do you want that? And I was like, I'll have that. And then, as he was signing me book, he was looking down, it was loud as fuck in there, and he said something, I just didn't hear what he said, and I just stayed quiet like a fucking idiot.
Just staring out.
Yeah, I'm sure if he looked up, he would have just seen us go like...
Yeah, it's one of them, your brain just freezes in the moment.
And we'll move on to the Terry Funk, introduced to Terry Funk, the man of 1,000 retirements.
Yeah, and Terry Funk's like, like probably like one of three main characters in this documentary, essentially.
Yeah, there's pretty much him, Mick Foley, and Jet the Snake.
Yeah. Yeah, fascinating. Like, what a great idea as well to follow Terry Funk. Someone who's had a fucking crazy career. He's wrestled at the highest and the lowest points of wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and at this point, what is he, 53? 52, 53, something?
Yeah, he's 53 in this one, yeah.
We'll kind of meet him when he's like, we'll meet him getting out of bed first, which is the most fucking...
Yeah, like, I'd made note of that. I was like, total all access. Like, he's just fucking getting up and he's like, he's whiteies.
You can tell it's genuine because he looks fucking out of it. He's just like, what's going on?
Yeah, and he's like, oh, yeah, hello.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
And then he's at the doctor's, and his doctor's basically saying, right, both your knees are fucked.
Yeah. He's like, this knee's destroyed, 85% destroyed. That knee... You'll be comfortable, but it'll probably hurt severely. This knee, though, I'm surprised you're still walking in it.
He's like, you need a new knee. And Terry Funk's like, will I be able to like live comfortably? And he's like, you shouldn't be living comfortably now.
But then, like, I think, like, straight after that, though, he just says, like, what about wrestling, though?
Yeah.
Like, essentially, the doctor's like, your legs are fucked. You're going to need, like, if you wrestle one more match, you may need new legs. And he's like, well, can I wrestle in a week, though? That's essentially, like, what happens in that little bit. Yeah. And it's like, that's just the mindset of him.
The old school wrestler mindset, isn't it? Yeah. I've got a show to do, can I do that? And if the doctor had said no, he would have went, well, I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what the wrestler captures, I suppose, as well.
Yeah,
like,
exactly, yeah.
The whole, like Rocky thing as well, like you can't perform anymore, please do not perform, but then they just can't perform.
You've got to do it type of thing. Yeah. And then we'll find out Funk's going to be performing on ECW's first pay-per-view, and then we'll get the intro to ECW with Well, it just shows how, like, not low, I don't mean low level in a bad way, but just how, like, grassroots ECW was that he's doing, like, the fucking Link promos with Joey Styles and, like, his mother's basement and stuff. It's great.
His mum's ironing in the background.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Especially just coming from, like, seeing WWF and the fucking Titan Towers and all the fucking... the glitz and glamour of it, and it's just like in his basement doing promos.
It's quite a nice setup, the documentary in that way. Yeah, like it's showing you like basically like the bookends of wrestling, like one extreme to another.
I guess that's why it works as well. If you had WCW in there as well, it wouldn't work as well, because it's better to just go from one to the other instead of going from two that are multi-millionaire companies to just, you know...
Yeah.
It's good to just go from WWF to ECW.
But yeah, I suppose it focuses again, like, I mean, it's cool to see the ECW thing, which it semi-focuses on, but again, it's more following, like, Terry Funk, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, like, obviously, the next bit we'll get to see, like, yeah, his family are watching him wrestle, aren't they, basically? Mm-hmm. And, like, he's taking, like, full-on headshots from, like, a set of ladders.
In a bin.
Yeah, and, like, his family are just, like, there wincing, like, his daughter, who's soon to be married and shit.
Yeah.
And they're all like, ugh. Again, something that this documentary does quite well is, like, highlights the human side of it.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, you know, the family obviously knows wrestling isn't a genuine combative sport, but they know full well the fucking injuries their fucking dads come home with over the years.
Yeah, and, like, they are real injuries, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, that horrible bit, like, after the match, where it's not like he's got internal injuries, but he's just, like, hacking up blood while a guy stitches up his head.
Yeah, and the guy's like, have you got blood in your lungs or something? And he's like, yeah, I think just I swallowed.
Yeah.
And stuff, and he's like, and there's, like, blood all over his face. And, like,
but then he washes it down with a beer, because he's a fucking Texan man. That's fucking awesome.
On to the next show.
Yeah. But the great thing about this is, like, young Heyman with his, I always call it the Army General speech, where he's talking to them all before the pay-per-view and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. If there was a guy that was born with gift of the gab, it's Paul Heyman.
It really is, yeah. Yeah, he's a fantastic seller, basically, for anything.
Like, you could even call, as a promoter, you could even call him just like a bullshit artist. It doesn't matter. He's fucking just, he could get you hyped up for anything. He could get you to, like, fucking, you know, fight an army by yourself. He's just that fucking good at talking.
Yeah, he is.
17 million homes that have availability for this show tonight. It will pay $20, hopefully, for the privilege to see you guys do what you have done for 3.5 years. Thank Terry Funk for all he's done for this company, for help putting us on the map, for being unselfish in selfish times, for taking the young guys and showing them a better way. Tonight we have a chance to say, yeah, you're right. We're too extreme. We're too wild. We're too out of control. We're too full of our own shit. Or we have a chance to say, hey, fuck you, you're wrong. Fuck you, we're right. Because you have all made it to the dance. Because believe me, this is the dance. Start the show.
I guess we're back to Mick Foley again, because obviously Terry Funk talks about Mick Foley for a bit.
Yeah.
It mentions him, but then it goes to Mick Foley, who's, like, discussing, like, Terry Funk's career and stuff.
Yeah, and we'll get to see a lot of clips of those, which I've always wanted to see in full. I remember seeing them for the first time, like, on... It was a pay-per-view where they were talking about, like, maybe before Mick Foley's first retirement match, when they were showing a lot of clips of those death matches he had in Japan with Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah, like... just ridiculous amounts of blood.
Oh, and like, you know, just think of it this way, folks. For those unfamiliar with wrestling, you think wrestling is just American wrestling. Japanese deathmatch wrestling is basically, instead of ropes, it was real barbed wire, not fucking blunt, it was real. Explosive pads with, like, it's not going to kill you, but it's going to hurt.
Yeah, yeah.
Big boards covered in fucking razor wire, and it's just brutal as shit, basically.
Yeah, like, people just pissing blood everywhere, basically.
I mean, is it this documentary where, I can't remember if it's like, it's because it's a brief shot, maybe making a note when it happened, where it's got that moment where Terry Funk's got a Japanese guy by the head and he's got like a fucking branding line.
Oh, no, I don't know. Maybe not. I can't remember.
I've seen that clip before and I was just like, even though you know Terry Funk's perfectly normal bloke, you see that and you're like, he's fucking mental.
Yeah.
But you get to meet Mick Foley, the family man, complete opposite to his character in WWF, as you imagine.
Yeah, like talking to his dad and stuff, which I thought was quite funny. He's asking permission to wrestle in the basement and that. Just shows you're never too old.
Of course, when you think about it, man, he was only like, what, 31, 32 at this point. They're younger than we are now.
Yeah, pretty mad. But yeah, it kind of bridges nicely into like introducing Mick Foley as this lovely bloke who's like totally sound of mind.
Yeah.
But then, like, he gets a voicemail from Cactus Jack. Like he's essentially, like, totally out of it. And he's like, hey, it's Cactus Jack here. And he just talks shit.
Yeah, and he's like, they say it was a good match. I don't remember too much.
Which is, like, the nice bridge into basically, like, what got us back into wrestling, really? The King of the Ring.
Hell in the Cell, yeah.
The match,
I must admit that, like, even watching the whole match has the same effect, but even just seeing clips still makes me anxious as fuck as the first time I saw it, where I was like, what the fuck? Because I honestly, I hadn't watched a wrestling event up until 98 since, like, 92.
Yeah.
And then I saw that, and you were saying to me, you were like, you know what, I'm pretty sure wrestling is real.
Well, that's it, because I think I had a friend stopping over that night, and I said, there's a wrestling pay-per-view on Sky Sports, or Sky Movies maybe, whatever it was on back then. And I said, let's watch it, it's 3 hours long, and it'll be a laugh. And, like, yeah, you know, like, I was full versed that wrestling wasn't real and stuff. I knew, obviously.
You were just expecting, like, it'll be our blokes in fucking turkey costumes, it'll be a laugh.
Yeah, it's sort of being like... Is wrestling real now? What the fuck? Like, seeing Mick Foley getting, like, you know, chokeslammed, like, 20 foot to the ground and stuff.
Seriously, if anyone's listening to this who thinks wrestling's a bunch of shit but wants to hear this review anyway, just because you're a fan of the show, just watch Undertaker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell, King of the Ring 98. It's... You'll... If you think wrestling's just, you know, headlock, body slam and stuff, your eyes will be... popped pretty much.
Yeah, it's crazy the stuff he does. Like, not just one big bump. There's like 5 big events or something in that match where you go, oh Jesus!
And the one where he goes through the top was like, there's been this argument for years of, was that supposed to happen or was it planned? And I think it's somewhere in the middle. It was supposed to happen, just not the way it happened.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't supposed to break all the way through, and the chair wasn't supposed to hit him in the face. That's what knocked his tooth out and knocked him out for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. And like, there's parts in the fucking match where he collapses and he's not acting. He's literally just can't stand up.
Yeah, he's totally out of it and stuff. And I think they were genuinely trying to get him, like, you know, like, finish the match, essentially, like, the people around and that. There's a bit when Terry Funk comes in and stuff, and he's all, like, trying to get him to stop.
Yeah, there's a great bit in Foley's book where, like, when he comes through the top of the cage, and then that's where they start killing time, because they realise he's really hurt.
Yeah.
And Undertaker kills time by chokeslamming Terry Funk, and for some reason, Terry Funk's shoes come off when he gets chokeslammed. And Mick Foley said he woke up from his daze and was like, why is there a pair of fucking shoes in the ring?
Like, whose shoes are those?
Yeah. It was just Terry Funk getting chokeslammed out of his bloody shoes.
It's a great bit of ad-lib, though.
Yes,
you know, like, to, like, have that, like, time-wasting thing, and, like, Terry Funk go in and get chokeslammed and that. Genius.
Yeah. Like, even if that bit was planned anyway, it worked just to give Mick Foley a fucking rest.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, what you needed.
Wrestling fans, I guess, unanimously praised the first one, where I was thrown off the cage. Probably the more spectacular of the two, but it's the wrestlers who appreciate the second one, because they've been body slammed and backdropped on our WWF mat, which doesn't have a whole lot of give to it.
On the other side, there's... Dead. Well, somebody stop the damn match!
I guess we'll get on to Jake the Snake now.
Yeah, Jake the Snake, like, massively dark chapter of this documentary.
Yeah.
Like, massively.
I do love the way it opens with probably his best promo, the $1 Million Man promo. He's like wallowing in the muck of avarice and all that stuff.
Yeah. He was pure gold on the mic.
Yeah.
Jake the Snake, yeah. Like, without ever raising his voice.
Yeah.
That's such a great thing about him. He didn't actually need to scream and shout at an era where that was the thing.
Oh, Jesus, yeah, with fucking Hogan and fucking Macho Man's fucking coked up promos and shit. Where you're just like, Christ, the heads are going to pop off in a second. But that presents a problem, though, because a lot of people, even Vince says it in this documentary, like, he was never sure whether he was talking to Jake the man or Jake the character, because he's not sure if they're that different. And
yeah, I mean, that's something that probably the documentary could have focused on a bit more. The fact that these wrestlers kind of, like, start believing their own shit eventually, their own hype. Like, it's certainly, like, with someone like Hulk Hogan, like, there is no Hulk, like, there's no Terry and Hulk Hogan. It is just Hulk Hogan.
It's Hulk Hogan, that's it.
Yeah, and like with Jake the Snake, I guess his life was that fucked up that he based his internal he based his character on his internal like darkness and stuff.
Yeah,
and like he is his character, and his character is him. It's so a lot of the interviews I've seen, I've always thought like, is any of that true? And you never know with Jake the Snake.
Yeah, I think he's obviously now like this is the horrible portion of his life, and now thanks to DDP, the Jesus of wrestling, he's got his life back on track and stuff. Yeah. But there's certain points when like in this documentary he's talking where you're like, is he cutting a promo or is he being genuine? It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Yes, but I mean, Christ, I suppose throughout this documentary, chances are he was probably off his tits as well.
Well,
like most of it.
I mean, it goes to that quite early on that like interview. You don't get his name; it's very quick. Like an interview with an indie promoter where he says like basically Jake wouldn't do the show unless we got him some crack. And you're like, jeez, that's great.
That's
well, that's whether it's true or not. Who the fuck knows? But if it is, it's pointing towards probably true.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Pretty fucking grim. And we meet him at a show. It's either Alaska or Nebraska, and we get his backstory where he tells that his mother was 13 when he was born because the bloke that was going out with his grandmother raped his mother. And you're just like, fuck, what a fucking way to start your life.
Yeah. Like, what's his dad's name again?
Grizzly
Smith. That's it, yeah. That's some dark shit, that, like. And I can't believe, like, it doesn't really spend much time on this, but somehow they managed to get them together for the documentary.
And that's awkward as fuck. All they're doing is doing backyard work in silence.
Well, no wonder, like, what did they think was going to happen?
What the fuck are they going to talk about? Yeah.
It's not like it's going to be like, if this is your life moment, they're going to hug it out.
And it's just the thing that Jake says. Like, he said, the only way I'm going to get my dad to, like, love and respect is if I'm better at him than what he did. So he became a wrestler, and it made no difference whatsoever.
Yeah, well, because what he sort of says, he says that like he wanted to become a wrestler, and his dad was like, "You'll never make it," and like, "I don't respect you." He took that and he said, "You know what? I'm going to take this wrestling industry and shove it up his ass."
Yeah,
and he's like, "By God, I did it. I did do it." But you know what? It didn't matter. And it's a great little bit where you think, "Oh, that's fucking powerful stuff." Like,
depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he goes on about his sister who was murdered. They never got the body back. The person got out of prison, told him to fuck off, said they're not telling you where the body. It's just like a fucking horrible history he's got. Yeah,
and his stepdad that he got on with ended up killing himself or something as well.
I think from the way he says it seems like it was just an accident.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's horrible, man. Horrible.
Yeah, because there's something in the attic or something, didn't he? Or something he said.
He just says he got electrocuted in the attic. Yeah,
that's
his mother found him. Horrible shit.
Yeah, so, and obviously, and this is all interspliced with like footage of him at indie shows and that. And there's like this bit when he's like peeing in like a bucket.
Yeah,
and I don't know, it's just like, what a contrast from like his career when he was at the height of his career.
Yeah, just before the Shawn Cliffs made WrestleMania 6, like fucking front of like almost 100,000 people and stuff, and he's pissing in a bucket in Nebraska or something. It's pretty depressing.
Pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a brief bit about China now.
Yeah, it doesn't really go. I suppose like China was at that point in her career where she hadn't full on gone into porn and stuff.
Not at all at this point.
Yeah, I suppose because it was 99, yeah. So she had left the WWE though, right? Yeah, she had.
No, not at this point. No.
Actually, no, she's still in.
She was around like 2001, I want to say.
Right, yeah, so, the documentary, obviously, in hindsight, it doesn't capture the
that's what I was going to say, yeah, that's kind of another tragic story about this, but it wasn't until years later, because, I mean, it's one of those things when we're like, people think wrestling's ridiculous, and a lot of the time, the behind the scenes is way more ridiculous.
Yeah, like proper schoolyard stuff.
Yeah, like she was in a relationship with Triple H.
Yeah.
Who ended up, depending on who you believe, cheating on her with the boss's daughter, marrying her. She got fired because of it, out of spite, apparently. Because of that, she developed a drug problem and she ended up doing porn, and then, just horrible, man. It's like a terrible soap opera.
Yeah. What a shame, because she seemed like, like really cool, and she's one of them people that's like a unique talent that deserved a place in like the Hall of Fame.
I still think she should be in the Hall of Fame. It's fucking ridiculous that Triple H is like, oh, well, if my daughters Google China, what are they going to find? It's like,
they'll Google it anyway, you know what I mean? It's you can't erase history as much as WWE would like to try by like expunging like Chris Benoit and more recently Hulk Hogan and stuff.
Yeah.
These things actually happened, and this lady actually had massive matches where she did massive things for female wrestlers.
Yeah.
And they're just it didn't happen.
And then in the context of kayfabe and stuff, she was the first woman to be in the Royal Rumble. She was the first female Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
So that all counts. And then, it's the fucking ironic thing is that you say, she did porn, blah, blah, blah. Fucking Sonny, who was already in the Hall of Fame, just did a porn recently.
Yeah, it's just because of the personal connection, basically.
Of course it is, yeah. It's because, if Stephanie McMahon doesn't want her in the Hall of Fame, she doesn't want to have to fucking run into her and talk to her.
Because she's an insane, crazy, bullying, psychopath. Which is Allegedly. No, but, all the stuff about, her being, this is the weird thing about wrestling. She always, talks about anti-bullying and stuff.
Mm.
But then, she basically portrays a bully in, on screen and stuff, and there seems to be a lot of dodgy things going on backstage and stuff.
The portraying a bully thing wouldn't matter. It's acting. But the fact that she never gets a comeuppance.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, the bad guys always win in wrestling at the minute, so it's a fucked up thing. Sometimes wrestling.
We're going to be another hell of a character, New Jack.
Yeah, I totally forgot about New Jack. Who's his gimmick is his gimmick slash
not a gimmick. Not a gimmick. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Yeah, he justifiably killed people in his past.
Apparently, he was a bounty hunter, and that's where those justifiable homicides come from. But then he also shows you how he's got no knuckles on one of his hand because he punched a bitch in the eye.
Oh my god!
Serious about it. Do you know much about New Jack? Because if not, just search. Just search on YouTube for New Jack almost kills a wrestler. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
He's fucking stabbed people in the ring, man.
Christ.
And beat the shit out of a 7-year-old wrestler.
Oh my god.
He's insane.
I'll have to have a look, yeah. Because I remember his name and stuff popping up in there, but I just totally forgot about him when I was watching the documentary. I think the most infamous New Jack moment, at least from when he was in ECW, was what's called the mass transit incident, where this kid who lied about his age, he was 17, and he got on a show, just a house show, and they were right, you're going to get some colour in this match. Have you ever played it before? No, I'll trust you to do it, to New Jack. And New Jack, cut a 5-inch fucking gash in his head. To the point where he was just pissing blood out his head and shit, and then they tried to sue. It was just a whole big fucking... Yeah, nice.
Yeah, he's done some mad shit.
But, in this one, ridiculously, they're trying to, sell him as an actor, aren't they, basically? Well... he goes to an audition and they're basically oh yeah, you're wonderful, please don't kill us.
I hate that bit. That's the most arse-kissy fucking Hollywood thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, so they're probably just doing it to get him out the door, man, to appease him.
You can tell the woman isn't as bullshitty as the guy. The guy's he could be a leading man. He could win an Oscar.
She's I'm not sure about the lead man.
It's just I never know about that.
Yeah, let's draw back a bit.
Yeah, calm down.
It's quite funny, yeah. And he was in a film or something, though, wasn't he? Or?
I don't know. No idea.
I'm sure something I'm not saying he was in Matrix or anything, but I'm sure he was in something shite around that time.
He probably has been.
Yeah, Channel 5 type fodder.
He's trying to tweet or something.
Yeah, but that's it's very brief, the New Jack stuff.
For some reason I always remember the New Jack bit as being longer.
Yeah, but it's not. It gets straight back to Terry Funk announcing his first retirement.
Yeah. And I was curious. I was I know he came out of retirement about 80 fucking times.
Yeah.
And his final retirement match was last year.
That's ridiculous.
I know. And that won't be the last one. He's 70 now.
Yeah.
I think it was against Jerry Lawler. Yeah.
Bless him. That's still going.
Just can't stop, man.
Yeah. He's one of them people that has it in his blood, basically.
We're getting to meet a guy who's become sort of a in joke amongst wrestling fans now. Fucking Dennis, I'm not booked stamp.
Yeah, where he's all he's just refusing to take it. Oh, it's just ridiculous. He's like a child, basically.
He is a little bit.
Yeah. He's but again, great editing for the documentary. He's all I wasn't booked, so, and then he's on a trampoline, doing jumping jacks on a trampoline or something, being I was stay in shape, just in case something comes up.
And then he's my last match was 1991.
Yeah, it's such a great moment. And then obviously like Terry Funk's talking to him casually, going like, "Yeah, man, you're gonna be there." And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna be there.
I'm not booked.
Why not gonna be there? I'm not booked. Well, you've got to turn up though. I'm not booked. That's how it worked." He's all like, so like he just strong arms him into saying, "Well, yeah, you can. Why don't you be the ref then?"
Yeah.
And he's all like, no, that's no. And he's like got a massive Cheshire grin like on his face, like, "Oh, I got what I wanted." And then like, I don't know, like almost immediately you see him like in his little referee vest and stuff. Yeah.
And he's all giddy about being in the main event finally and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, you can see where he's coming from and stuff.
Yeah, totally,
yeah. It's just one of them things about wrestling, I suppose. Like, people get caught up in the moment and forget about people that have helped get them there and stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything to... And Terry Funk, to his credit, he did immediately sort of say, "Look, you be in the main event and stuff."
Yeah. Because he has his retirement match against Bret Hart, doesn't he?
Does, yeah, which is pretty mad, because Bret Hart was big at that time.
Yeah. And I always thought, like, before I realised that WCW just declined, I thought it was weird that, like, they didn't focus at all on the screw job, especially when they're talking about how Vince McMahon has become a character now.
Yeah, they glance over that very quickly, the Vince McMahon thing being a character.
Yeah, and don't mention the screw job at all, which was one of the most, like, real things that ever happened in wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. We do get some, the uncomfortable meeting between Jake and his daughter.
Yeah, again, this is proper wrestler territory. This, like the movie Wrestler, this is, like, what like, obviously inspired them.
Before it gets to that, when he's just on the phone, talking to her, and then he hangs up and he's like, "Wow, that was brutal." Yeah. And then he gets fucking distracted by, like, a chocolate stain on his jacket.
Yeah, he's like...
I love that. Just goes, and, what the hell is this shit?
I guess that's his, like, personality, basically. He's just all over the place.
Always makes us laugh. Then he's like, "Is this chocolate or something?" That's not the point, Jake.
Yeah, it's pretty grim. Like, like the daughter as well, saying, like, I want to come with friends. And he says, "Yeah, I guess." And then she straight away fires back, "Not that I'm scared of you or anything."
Yeah.
Like, but obviously she is.
Yeah, probably. I mean, because you get the feeling they've never really had that much of a relationship anyway. So.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about this. This is the point where I keep thinking, is Jake putting on an act? Or I don't mean to sound horrible, but it's the way he is.
Yeah. Everything's
a promo almost. Like, wait, you can't tell, because it's just the way he is, so you can't tell if he's, like, putting on an act or he's being genuine. I don't know. It probably is real, because they do say, literally afterwards, he went off and did crack, so...
Yeah, well, because obviously they meet up at some sort of hotel or something.
Yeah.
And, straight away, I think they have, like, a 5-minute meeting, don't they? And then he's like, "Right, bye."
Yeah.
And just goes back to his room. He's not going to hang around. And they have quite a genuine heart-to-heart where he, like, opens up really about like his life and the reasons why he wasn't there and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes to his room and takes crack.
Apparently, that's what they're saying.
Yeah. And then there's like this sort of like powerful bit that again sticks in my head when he's leaning up against the bed and he says like, I think the interviewer asks him like, do you feel sorry for yourself?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't feel sorry for myself. Everything that's happened, I deserved it, and I never feel sorry for it. And he says, like, if that's what the camera's capturing, then
it's wrong.
And I thought, fucking hell. Yeah, but again, Jake the Snake, just cutting an awesome promo.
Pretty much. I honestly think if Jake hadn't been a wrestler, he would have won fucking Oscars. He's that fucking, like, charismatic and shit.
Yeah. When I was growing up, I swore up and down I would never treat my kids the way my father treated me. And 24 years later, I look back and say, my God, you've done the exact stinking same thing. But it's not the way I wanted it to go.
How did you want it to go?
I guess I wanted that Walt Disney ending. Not the old yeller one either.
Dad, we've never had a Walt Disney ending.
I know. I certainly haven't.
So we'll go back to Foley now, who is now the WWF champion.
Yeah, it's like it goes from the grimness straight back to the glitz.
Yeah. And it's cool, all this bit's great because it's like when we were watching and stuff. So I remember at the time thinking like, it's great to see all the behind the scenes stuff at the time we were watching and stuff.
Yeah, like there's a bit when you see Rock cutting a promo. Well, first you see him practicing the promo.
Yeah.
And then you see him actually delivering the promo, but you see it from obviously like a backstage sort of perspective. That's kind of cool, because I totally remember the promo.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I first saw this, I was like, I remember that promo, because I always remember the way he used the word befuddled.
Yeah.
We got a brief Stone Cold appearance, very brief.
Meeting the kids and stuff.
Apparently, he refused to appear on camera.
Fair dues. Again, these people probably like, you get a tip off. A lot of the time, people aren't cutting documentaries to make wrestling seem mint. Probably.
No.
So, like, people like Stone Cold and that, who's obviously a very clever guy, he's got his wits about him and stuff. He probably thought, nah, I'm not gonna, because they're gonna make me look like a dickhead or something. Yeah. Even if it was right or wrong, that's probably what he thought would happen.
I think all wrestlers back then were on the guard.
Yeah.
Like, not so much now, but like back then, like for journalists, because you just sort of look at the like that infamous John Stossel interview where like, was it Dave Schultz like slapped him and fucking burst his eardrum. It's not funny, but it is.
Yeah, just got totally pissed off.
Is this a good business?
Yeah, it's a good business. I wouldn't be in it if it wasn't.
Why is it a good business?
Because only the tough survive. That's the reason you ain't in it. And this punk holding the camera reading he ain't in it. Reading these rednecks out here ain't in it, because it's a tough business.
That's terrific.
What, is that all you got?
I'll ask you the standard question.
Standard question.
I think this is fake.
You think it's fake? What's that? Is that fake? Huh? What the hell's wrong with you? That's open hand slap, huh? You think it's fake? You talk like that? Huh? What do you mean?
But yeah, Royal Rumble 1999 for the infamous I Quit match.
Where he gets the shit kicked out of him.
And we'll get his family's reaction. You got his wife and his 2 kids, and this is the most unsettling part of the whole thing. Cause
like his wife is screaming like, "Oh my god!" like throughout, and that's upsetting the kid, and the kid's howling and crying and stuff.
And it's kind of amusing watching the other fans around here that obviously don't know who she is.
Yeah.
He briefly interacts with them during his entrance, but not so much that it would call attention to it. So everyone's watching going, Christ, it's not real,
Yeah. Calm down, love.
Calm down, woman.
Although he does take like 20 headshots with a chair. So
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's like, you can tell. I mean, Mick Foley even says afterwards that, like, he hit us so many damn times with a chair, and you can tell Rock kind of took some liberties a little bit.
Yeah, like, he probably took it a little bit too far, because he thought, I've got this punching bag that is infamous for taking, like, crazy bumps.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go mental to, like, excel myself in a way. Like, I mean, I love The Rock and stuff, but...
And plus, The Rock was, like, what? 24, 25 at the time.
Yeah.
He's still a pretty young guy.
Yeah, he didn't really have the sense and stuff.
No.
So, yeah, he just pounded the shit out of his head. Like,
and it's still really uncomfortable to watch as well, especially now with the whole thing about concussions and the fact that they don't do chair shots to the head anymore.
Yeah, it's totally a written rule, literally no headshots and stuff.
And he's hitting him in the back of the head, which is the worst place to get hit.
Yeah, crazy match. I can't remember, is that the match where it's like, he doesn't actually say I quit, it's like recorded, is that...
Yeah, they basically like lured him into saying the words "I quit" before the show, like during the interview, and they played that over the speaker. Because at the time, I was like, "What happened? What?"
Yeah,
it was such a good swerve, actually.
Yeah, it was good. A good moment. I'll have to go back and rewatch that Rumble. Actually, I was thinking when I was watching this documentary.
It's a good Rumble. It's the one with McMahon in it and Chyna's in the Royal Rumble and stuff. It's a pretty good show.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, very grim bit, and also like pretty irresponsible. It like highlights how irresponsible wrestling is when like he's pissing with blood backstage, and like they bring these kids like straight to him. I know they wanted like, quick, let's show him Daddy's okay and that, but I'm not sure they should have brought the kids to him when he was getting his head stitched open, stitched closed and shit. I thought, oh Christ, man! Like,
you got that doctor from back then who'd always be on the show, Francois Petit.
Yeah,
who's like, it's just a boo boo.
Yeah. But the gash in his head though was massive.
It's like a cleft.
It's even hit with an axe or something. Yeah. It's funny when his wife's like, what time's our flight? And there's like some like helper person, they're like, oh, we can totally arrange that if you want. And she was like, no, I'm just asking to like see if he knows where he is.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah, quite clever little thing she does.
I don't know if we talked about this during the episode, Mortal Kombat episode, but you know that doctor, Francois Petit, he played Sub-Zero in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, of course, yeah.
How fucking weird is that?
Yeah. That is pretty weird.
So strange, man. Yeah. What a weird connection. But eventually, Barry Blaustein, the director, takes the footage of his family's reaction to Mick Foley, and you just feel so bad for Mick Foley.
It's quite a powerful moment again, because his face, he's just like, oh God. Oh God.
He says that he feels, for the first time in his life, he feels like a bad father.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful stuff, that really. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, I wonder if it had because it wasn't long before he retired from active wrestling, really, wasn't it?
Well, like Terry Funk, though, for the first time.
If you know what I mean. He did take a massive step back, though.
Oh, he did, yeah. He had his retirement match in early 2000, February 2000, I think, and then came back sporadically, or he never went full-time again, I don't think, apart from when he was commissioner and stuff.
Yeah.
But he never had a full-time wrestling career after that.
I wonder if that had something to do with it, I guess.
Wouldn't surprise us, yeah. I don't know I can't remember if he mentions that in his book or not, but it wouldn't surprise us.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, really.
That's pretty much it. The show wraps up by saying Tony Jones and Mike Modest never got their break in the WWF. Terry Funk, of course, did not stay retired. It says Jake the Snake spent some time in jail. And didn't see his daughter ever again at that point. I'm not sure if he has since.
Thankfully, that has a happier ending.
And then it covers Paul Heyman is still hanging in there with his little wrestling company.
Yeah, God, it shows how long ago this was.
So yeah, it is a really good documentary. I'm not sure, like I said at the start, I'm not sure it achieves what it sets out to do. I think it's a little bit naive in that way. It's wanting to tell you, these are great guys, but at the end of it, you're kind of fuck.
Well, with a topic like this, though, you kind of don't, you never really know what you're going to get. So his intentions were probably, I want to make a show, a behind-the-scenes documentary of wrestling so people know what it's actually about, and then he just ended up, having some dark subjects to deal with.
Yeah.
That's the film he ended up with. That's the thing with documentaries, you know what I mean?
And I think that's probably what Vince McMahon was pissed off about, the fact that they didn't really capture the funness of wrestling or the pageantry. It captured more about the darkness of wrestling, so I can kind of see why Vince would be pissed off about it, to be fair.
Kind of explains why Vince started doing a lot of documentaries on his own wrestlers, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah. Try and claw back a bit.
Yeah. I said, if you're not a fan of wrestling, I think you'll still enjoy it. It's just if you enjoy tragic documentaries or just documentaries about people and just interesting people, that's all I can say, really recommend it.
Yeah, and that's what wrestlers are. A lot of the time they're just people that have these crazy lives, that they do crazy things, they burn bright and very short, sadly.
Yeah.
But they just have they're at the top of the game, fucking crazy lives.
Yeah. So it's great stuff. Beyond the Mat, go check it out. It is on YouTube, I think.
I probably need to rebuy it. I've got a DVD that is so old it comes in a wood case and stuff. It's like one of them, the DVDs that was massive and plastic.
Oh, where they try to make CDs, DVD Amaray cases and stuff.
Yeah, and it's crazy and stuff.
Yeah.
It has zero special features.
I hate those. Whenever you buy something for a penny on Overstock and it's a DVD from 1999 in those fucking cases, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's literally, I think I got it free from work, from HMV.
Yeah.
It was a promo one or something. So yeah, I should probably rebuy it, because I believe it was re-released with special features on it and stuff.
There's a director's cut that's a bit longer.
Yeah.
With a few more interviews in it. I don't think it's massively longer, but...
So yeah, I'll have to get that.
Did your version have Jesse Ventura in it?
Oh yeah, actually we forgot to mention about
Yeah. I think that might be in more of him in the director's cut.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, we skimmed over him, obviously, but Jesse the Body Ventura.
He's only in it 20 seconds.
Yeah, right at the start. I guess because of his political career and that he probably a courteous interview but didn't want to start talking about it. Or...
Yeah, he can't be Jesse Ventura though. Now he's all some mad conspiracy nut and stuff.
Is he? Really? I've not really...
Every time he pops up, it's always because he's got some mad conspiracy about the Illuminati or something, I don't know. I never really keep track.
No, well that's it. No, I've literally not seen him since he popped up now and then on WWE, to be honest. Yeah. Still, you can't beat his sexual tyrannosaur and all the rest.
Oh,
Predator quotes.
Slack-jawed faggots! I think in Predator he's just doing an impression of Vince.
Yeah, quite possibly. Oh, one of my favourite things about Vince's pop fact that always comes up is the fact that he hates people sneezing.
Oh, it's fucking so ridiculous. He considers it a sign of weakness.
Yeah, you could literally be fired for sneezing in front of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Paul Heyman told a story once that he was having a meeting with Vince.
Yeah.
And Vince just like started looking off to the side and wasn't listening to what Heyman was saying. He was like, what the fuck, what if I said something wrong? And then Vince just suddenly sneezed. And the rest of the conversation just didn't happen because Vince was so disappointed in himself for sneezing.
Because he doesn't have... it's the only thing he can't control, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. It's fucking insanity, man. That's what I mean. He's a fucking insane genius. Oh, it's crazy. But yeah, that's Beyond the Mat. That's episode 99.
Yeah, it's on to episode 100.
Fuck knows what that's going to be. We'll have to do... We've got to do something special.
Yeah, we'll have a think about it. Maybe do it like a proper live show over here.
Oh God, how are we going to do a live show? You mean like live broadcast?
Yeah, something like that.
Not with that.
It's just so I can like totally like go nuts and like say really edgy things that I know you can't edit out.
Exactly, that's what worries us. And the fact that if we know it's fucking going out live, we'll just fucking climb up and be like,
what we're going to talk about.
Exactly.
We'll think of something.
We'll see.
Yes.
So until then, keep it real.
Yes.
Keep it warm and keep it wrestling.
Wrestle.
Keep wrestling.
I'm in the wrestle business.
Keep yoking.
He's gone up.
I'm just going to swig me water just in tribute to Vincent.
Nice.
There you go. That's Jamie. So yeah.
Nod and that.
So until next time, catch you later.
See you later.
Bye.
The Kriss and Kriss Show.
Hi, I'm Stacey with an S, the Director of Operations over here at Wafoo HQ. If you'd like to support the show, a review and rating on iTunes would be much appreciated. Just search for Wafoo FM. Or, if you're not an iTunes user, a review over at Stitcher.com would also be flipping marvellous. Once again, just search for Wafoo FM. If you'd like to get in contact with the show, the email address is wafoopodcast@gmail.com. Or alternatively, if you'd prefer to leave a voicemail, head on over to www.speakpipe.com/wafoofm. Thanks for listening.